the potential for the $100,000 bond for all immigrant visas. So this is what we're talking about. People who, your sibling petitioned you and you waited for 10 years and now you're ready to come into the United States. But before the consulate is willing to give you a visa so you can come into the US so you can get the green card, they're going to make you pay for a $100,000 bond first. That just got reported by the Wall Street Journal. They're thinking about it. Now, who does that apply to? Maybe diversity. You won the diversity visa lottery. You can come into the United States. You have no family, you have no petition, you have no business, but you are able to immigrate to the US. The US issued these diversity visas for people all over the world, for every country. You people win it, they come. Well, before you get this, pay for that $100,000 bond. This could potentially also apply for business cases. Maybe you're EB1, maybe you're EB2 in IW, maybe you don't have an official job lined up, but because of your extraordinary ability, your resume looks great, the US is going to give you a green card. Well, now you might have to pay a $100,000 bond. In the past 2 years, we've seen immigrant visas get more and more difficult. We saw this year the United States, USCIS, is trying to reject a lot of adjustment status cases and push people back into their home countries. And now this pattern emerges where the immigration department in the United States and overseas is working together in the sense of pushing people to get their immigrant benefits overseas. But now if they have to go through overseas, now they have this additional $100,000 bond that they potentially have to pay for. And who does the money go to? It goes to the State Department. And so that's a tax that the U.S. citizens and people in the U.S. does not have to pay, because these are all funds that are paid for by foreigners overseas buying a bond, and then they get the visa, and then they come in, and then they still have to pay for everything else, right? Now, what are the details of it? These are just something that they're brainstorming, but once I saw this news, I am convinced that it is going to happen. I am sure it is going to happen, and I'm sure the details are going to be spelled out within the next 3 to 6 months. I see this pattern emerging where USCIS makes the green card adjustment status much more difficult, and now people are choosing to go back to their home country. And if they're in their home country applying for this visa, it's easier, it'll get approved, but now you have to fork up this 100,000 bond. It's refundable under what condition? And so from the news we're seeing, the condition is once you have become a citizen, or once you've worked your 40 credits, you paid enough insurance, you paid enough into the Social Security, then we'll give you your $15,000 back. But what does that mean? That's practically going to mean maybe out of 500,000 green card visas that are issued every single year or more, the government is able to hold that money for 4 years, 5 years, 10 years without having to pay it back. Yeah. And a lot of people never work the 40 hours, right? What if you petitioning your sibling is already 60 years old, they're already retired, they're not going to work 40 credits. Plenty of people get green cards and never become citizens. So they just forfeit the bond. Basically it becomes an extra gift to the US government State Department, right? A bond that you never get back. I see this as a way that this administration is basically forcing immigrants to the United States with additional fees that is not approved by Congress, but it is going to fund the State Department, and it's going to fund the immigration system, and it's going to fund basically the US machine. But this effectively it hits multiple birds with one stone.
Right.
The government wanted to cancel diversity visa for the longest time. Congress is not able to muster up the willpower to do it. Well, this bond rule effectively cancels diversity visa, because most people who get the diversity visa don't have the funds to actually try to do it.
Most people are not going to have, even $10,000, right? Overseas, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, right? A lot of people's annual salary overseas is $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a year. So to be able to take that money a whole year to give it to the State Department and say, oh, this is a bond insurance, right? Now, you do a lot of consulate work, right? The past 10 consulates that you've worked with, I mean, what are they? What are the clients? What are the backgrounds?
Yeah, so what we have seen, for example, we had an interview at the Ciudad Juarez Consulate, which is in Mexico, and this was for an immigrant visa for children of a U.S. citizen. So what they did is they referred them to the citizenship unit at the consulate to try to apply for citizenship instead of granting the immigrant visas. Not sure why that really happened. I've never seen that happen before with our clients. The reason why we didn't apply for citizenship is the mother did not qualify, did not have the 5-year physical presence to transfer citizenship to the children. So they get this referral, they send them to the citizenship unit, they go in there, they show up, and then the officer says, why are you here? What's the problem? And then they say, we don't know. They sent us from downstairs. They told us to come upstairs and come and talk to you because you were going to help us continue the process. It was a whole 2 days and a half talking to different officers. The client is there. No one can go in with the client. Attorneys are not allowed to be there. So it's just a lot of coaching, and contacting them. And telling them, okay, no, you have to explain it this way so that they can, so that was the first thing that we've seen this month, is that now they are sending applicants to apply for citizenship. I'm not sure if it's just to reconfirm before they can issue the immigrant visa. At the end, the immigrant visa was issued. The client already has a passport preparing to come to the U.S., but that was the first thing. Second thing is a consulate in Cambodia. This was not our client, though. This was a client that reached out after their immigrant visa was denied because of public charge. And more scrutiny in these cases. They are now just looking at every single thing that they can possibly look at in order to challenge these cases or deny these cases. And it makes the process, harder for clients. People that are doing consular processing need to prepare for the back and forth now.